Malcolm Louie here. Welcome to Eversprint.com. Today we're speaking with Jennifer Barnes, co-founder and president of Pro Back Office, a fast-growing company that provides accounting, finance, and business consulting services to business owners. Welcome to the call, Jennifer.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Jennifer, you grew your company's revenue from $1.5 million in 2014 to $5.5 million in 2017, a 267% increase, and now you're on track to hit $6.7 million in 2018. To achieve this rapid growth since 2014, what was your number one sales or marketing objective, and what challenges did you overcome to get there?
We haven't done much marketing at all, to be honest. We don't have any salespeople. And so we've grown the company purely on relationships and taking care of others. So one thing that has been very, very important to us is happy staff, hiring the very best people and retaining them. We also focus a lot on referrals. So where can we refer our strategic partners and making sure that our clients are aligned with the right people that are going to be able to support them. So focusing on the relationships and making sure that our clients are taken care of has really helped exponentially grow our company. We are constantly top of mind with banks and CPA firms and CEO coaches, and they're always wanting to bring us in to their clients because of such the great job that we have done in the past.
Fantastic. Were there any challenges, or what were the challenges to get the top of mind presence with the banks and the CPAs and the coaches out there?
In terms of growing a business, especially a fast-growing business, there are going to always be challenges. We haven't had too many. We have focused on relationships, taking care of other people, hiring the right people, and really focused on making sure we have enough cash. And so as you're growing quickly, focusing on cash is key. And fortunately for us, we've never had any debt. We've never had to put any investor money in, and we've been able to grow organically. I think any challenge is finding the right talent and the right people. And we did make some hiring mistakes in the early years. So we've continued to improve and refine our hiring process. We actually do IQ tests, and we do verbal and written essays. We do an accounting exam, a behavioral assessment, and really make sure that people fit our culture before we bring them on.
Okay. Now, you mentioned before managing cash. Now, in the nature of your business, I guess the key issue is just making sure you're not overstaffed, because then you have an issue where you're burning more cash than you're bringing in. Is that the key challenge, is managing the work, the jobs, the work that you have with your staff, with the capacity your staff has?
No, actually, that's not at all a problem. And it's because in the very beginning, I designed a compensation plan that put us at almost no risk and liability. The way that we compensate our team is we pay everybody a base that's a little lower than they're going to actually make. So everyone who's on our salary plan, which is about 60 people currently, they get a percentage of everything they bill. And because we have about 70% female employees at Pro Back Office, they don't always all want to work 40 hours a week because they have families, kids, and other things in their lives that are important to them. So they might work 20 hours in a week, 30 hours in a week, 35 hours in a week, and it doesn't really matter because we're going to make the same margin on one of our employees, whether they work 20 hours or 40 hours. Essentially, because they're getting a percentage of everything they bill, less their base, we're able to manage and maintain the costs without much effort. For example, if somebody's on a $60,000 base, we might be actually paying them $10,000 for that particular month. They get $5,000 of it throughout the month, and at the end of the month, they get an additional $5,000 based on what they've billed. So it really helps us keep our costs under control. I would say the most difficult thing with managing cash is not on my employees. It is on our clients. So it's really making sure that we don't let a client get 3, 4, 5, 6 invoices behind. And in the earlier years, we were a little more lenient on people getting behind, and now we have a pretty strict process. So
Right.
if a client
Okay.
has 4 invoices outstanding, right, we want to make sure we collect. We were burned a bit in the beginning
Yep.
and had clients that racked up $10, $12, $15,000 in invoices and then didn't pay. So
Right.
that's been the complicated part. It's more of the collections. How do we make sure the clients are paying on time? And you'd think that would be easy since we're the accounting department and we're paying our own bills. But we also can't pay our bills first versus other vendors because there's a little bit of a conflict there. So we need to make sure that our clients are fiscally healthy, that they have enough money in the bank to pay for all their operating expenses, including being able to afford us. That's
Right.
more of the challenge.
So before you mentioned how it wasn't ethical for your clients to pay you first. So that means having a prepaid service is not something that would work then?
We don't do prepayments. Essentially, my team, we don't do fixed fees. So our clients are charged every 2 weeks based on the actual hours that were worked at each level. So a staff accountant might be $45 an hour. Maybe they're working 16 hours a week. An accounting manager might be $85 an hour. Maybe they're working 6 to 12 hours a week. A controller is going to start anywhere from $110 to about $150 an hour, and that might be 2 days a month. And then our CFOs are anywhere from $185 to $250 an hour. And so it's making sure that we design a solution for each of our clients that is going to fit within their budget, that's going to add value, and that we make sure they can afford our services before we even engage.
Okay. But having like a retainer sort of arrangement where they put a retainer of $5,000 in advance and you draw from that, and then when it runs low, they top it up. That's something that wouldn't work?
Well, what we do is we charge a deposit of anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000, and we apply that on usually the 7th invoice, but it can be as far out as the 13th invoice. So in order for us to apply the deposit on their 7th invoice, the first 6 invoices need to be paid on time. Once we see that they're paying on time and everything's going well, then we apply the deposit. We don't keep anything on file, and we just trust that they're going to pay us every 2 weeks.
Right.
And we actually have about 28 days outstanding right now, which is really good. So less than 30 days outstanding on all of our invoices, and we have 300 clients. So we've had to really proceduralize everything.
Right. So back in 2014, how many clients did you have?
Good question. Back in 2014, we probably had 50 or 60 clients.
So
The average invoice has gone up. So our average invoice used to be maybe $1,200 a month. Now our average invoice is about $2,800 a month.
Okay,
so
fantastic.
We've kind of increased the average client size that we're working with. Whereas in the very beginning, you're so excited to be even running a business, you take on pretty much anybody. And now if a client can't spend at least $1,000, $1,500 a month, we generally try to refer them to somebody else.
Right. Okay. Yeah, makes sense. So growing from 50 to 60 clients in 2014 to 300 clients today, that all came from referrals, or did you have other ways of acquiring new clients?
In the last year, we brought in about 10 clients strictly from Google. People have Googled us or found us online somehow and reached out to us via our website. Most of those are referrals, and then I bring in quite a few clients myself. I go to a lot of Vistage events and executive forums, and we do a lot of lunch and learns, and I go to a lot of events in general. So I'm out and about meeting people and bringing in clients and just making sure that we're at the right place to find the types of clients that we're looking for ultimately.
So since you bring it up, who are the types of clients that you're looking for ultimately?
We have a pretty broad range on who we're looking for, and we can service a client that has 2 people, a dog in their garage, and they're a startup company, and they're taking off, and they've got this great product or software or service to sell, and we start working with them in the beginning, set up their QuickBooks file, get them all organized, and then we love watching them grow. We've had clients that have grown from $1 million to $3 million to $10 million to $20 million, and then they want to go public, or they want to merge or sell, and so really an ideal client for us is going to be between $2 million and $40 million a year in revenue on the outsourced accounting side. So this is going to be businesses that need anything from all the staff accounting, accounting manager, controller, CFO work, to businesses who might have an in-house team at the lower levels, and we might just do controller and CFO work and or HR. So outsourced HR makes up about 5% of our overall revenue, and these are businesses of all sizes, from the startups to a $100 million business that might need some consulting type of work. We also service clients on the business advisory side that might need forensic accounting support, internal audit, and some strategic consulting services. So these are businesses that are $50 million to maybe $500 million. We also service publicly traded companies. So we do Sarbanes-Oxley, we do some SEC reporting, we do a lot of internal audit in helping a client with all the above, from the accounting to the Sarbanes-Oxley type of work. I mean, essentially, it's the startup company to a publicly traded business and everybody in between. So we can help anybody.
Yeah, it has a pretty wide range. Now, you said earlier that you're out there. You're at the forums, you're at the events. You are meeting with this huge wide range of companies from startups in the garage all the way up to publicly traded companies.
Right. We're a part of groups such as Vistage and EO and Sage Executive Group. We're also members of Rotary, the Lincoln Club, Social Venture Partners, Young Executives Council. I'm on numerous boards such as Junior Achievement, Better Business Bureau. I'm in Toastmasters. I'm in some other networking groups. We're a part of ACG, San Diego Venture Group. And then I also do a lot of speaking at San Diego State. So I help by mentoring as part of the Lavin program, and then I go and get to speak with college classes. And, you never know where you're going to meet a client. I did a panel at San Diego State about a year ago, and two of the ladies on that panel that I was with are now clients of ours. And it was just hearing about, wow, outsourced accounting? I didn't even know a service existed that you could fractionalize out the accounting department and have everybody doing exactly what they're good at every level, but only the hours that are needed. So you never want your CFO doing staff accountant work, and you don't want your staff accountant or bookkeeper even trying to do cash flow forecasting or budgeting or provide good financials and analytics, because they're not capable of it.
Yeah.
So our model really allows everybody to do exactly what they're good at, and then it can scale up and down, and we can move positions around. And if they outgrow us on the staff accounting role, we'll help them hire a staff accountant. And then usually the last person standing is the CFO. So we might hire replacements for ourselves all the way down the line. And then the CFO is the last fractional, 20 hours a week. And eventually the business hits 20, 30, 50, 100 million, and then they need to hire their own full-time person.
Right. So right now, this year, you're on track to do 6.7 million in 2018. What's your objective over the next few years? How big do you want to bring the company, to take the company?
In order to scale a human capital business, you have to be pretty strategic and very careful with your hiring. I'm of the mindset that $1 million to $2 million a year in revenue growth is sustainable. And we've done it in the past. We have continued to do it. And so if I can stay at $1.5 million to $2 million a year in growth, even if it's just $1 million, we're happy. We're good. We're providing jobs. We're helping businesses, and we're not growing too fast. You can make really bad hiring decisions if you're trying to grow $3, $4, $5 million a year in revenue in this type of a space, because you have to hire rapid fire. We already hired 20 plus people this fiscal year. We hired 28 last year, and that's a lot. That's 2 people a month. So for me, I'm comfortable hiring between 20 and 30 people a year and bringing on $1 to $2 million a year in revenue. Any more than that, we're not in a position to do more than that unless we had some private equity funds or, additional managers, and that's not something that we're interested in at this point.
Okay. So what are your challenges to achieve your 1 to 2 million a year growth? You mentioned one of them, hiring the right people. What other challenges are there? What about finding clients who will actually pay you the 1 to 2 million? Is that a challenge?
It's not. We're in one of those industries that is at the very forefront of exploding. Southern California is one of the few states and cities that have really embraced outsourced accounting, and it's just kind of it's kind of at the forefront of the very beginning of this type of a service. So, just in September alone, we've brought on 14 clients, and we've hardly tried. I hate to sound like overly confident, but we have brought in so much business historically with very little effort. I sit in front of my computer sometimes and leads just pile on in, and to this day it amazes me that we get as much business as we do with very little efforts, no salespeople, no business development. We, other than myself, my partner, and some key people at the firm who go out and meet others, it's been without too many challenges getting new clients.
So the 14 new clients that came on board in September, were they like just ready to sign on? They said, hey, Jennifer, I need your help. Let's get started right now. And that's it? Or was there a bit of selling involved to get them on board, to get them convinced to say, yeah, let's do it?
I would say it's a good mix. So clients come to us usually when they have been thinking about accounting and fixing their financials for quite some time, and they call us and they want us to start yesterday. They want us to start within the next couple of days. Sometimes a client makes us go through a bit of a process, and it takes 2 or 3 weeks to get signed on. But generally speaking, when people are ready for our services, they're ready for our services. We don't have to do a lot of selling. Most clients, if they talk to me on the phone for 20, 30 minutes, they're ready to meet my team. And pending I put the right team in front of them, they're ready to sign papers and move forward. We as a firm brought on 120 clients so far this fiscal year.
And would you say that was taxing the capacity of your team? It was at your maximum, or could you have done a lot more?
It was about right. Last year we brought on 125 clients total, okay. And this year we're already at 120, and we're in September. So we will probably bring in another 30 clients through the rest of this year, maybe more. So we're looking at 150 new clients this year. Could we have doubled that? No. Could I have brought in 300 clients this year? No. That would be way too much. That would just be, we would potentially sacrifice on quality control and not hiring the right people. So we have a process with each client that we bring on. We have a client acceptance checklist. We ask them various questions. We really get to understand who are they, what do they need, and how can we help them? How are we going to add value to their company? And so we do turn down at least 5 to 10 clients a month, and we refer them to somebody else. So I think as long as we're strategic and we continue to be strategic, we'll have no problem bringing on 10 to 20 clients every single month. And yes, it's a lot of extra work. So, bringing on 15 to 20 clients in 1 month certainly keeps me on my toes, and it keeps my partner on his toes. And now we've just brought on a third person to help us run the company. So a lady named Fran, who's also our VP of accounting, is now helping Mike and I to grow and scale the organization. And then we also have some other key players at the company who we're continuing to promote and make sure that we have the right people in place for the long haul.
Right. So with when the client signs on board, how many of them stay with you forever, and how many leave after X number of years?
Well, we've only been in business for 6 years, and we have quite a few clients that have been with us for 4, 5, 6 years. Probably, if I had to throw a number out, it's probably about 80% retention on the client side for clients that actually want the ongoing service. Now we do consulting, and we do outsourced HR, and we do a bunch of projects. And then we can also do a little bit of temp and interim work. So some clients have only chosen to work with us because they need a solution for the next couple of months, or they were referred to us by somebody who knows that we do good work, and they only plan on being a client for a month or for a project.
Right.
But on the ongoing side, we're pretty great. I mean, we don't have a lot of turnover in-house at all with my team, and we have really high retention. And then consistency is key. I mean, clients don't want 5 different accountants over a 2-year period, right? They want the same team of people. And so as long as we can keep our team happy and they're treating our clients well, the goal is for all of our clients to be with us long term.
Right. So just from what you share with me so far, then it sounds like really the biggest challenge you face is hiring the right people.
Finding and retaining and hiring the right people, right? Yeah, and keeping our clients, keeping them happy, but also making sure that they can pay us on time. So if they start falling behind, as much as we want to help and be generous and kind, we also have to be a little bit tough when people fall behind and kind of make sure that they're, we don't want to do stop work because that's a little bit disruptive, but it's really making sure that we keep our accounts receivable under control.
Right. So can you recap to me again who your ideal clients are and also share the best way for them to contact you? Sure.
Our ideal clients are a company in any industry. We service every single industry. And these are clients from the $1 million mark to the $50 or $60 million size on the outsourced accounting, for the outsourced accounting team. And then on the business advisory services side, this can be all sizes of businesses. So they can be startups all the way to 500 million. These are companies that need strategic consulting. They need internal audit. They need forensic accounting. And then finally, we've got Sarbanes-Oxley as a service offering. So we've got about a dozen publicly traded businesses that we do their SOX work for. So our range is pretty broad of who we can service. It just depends on the life cycle of where they're at and what they need at that current moment in time.
Okay. And what's the best way for them to get in touch with you and your team?
Oh, sure. The best way for them to get in touch with us is to either go on our website. We've got a really great info form on our website that people can put information down. Those actually go directly to my email and my partners, and we are very quick to respond. So I would say the best way is to go online, go to our website, or they can also call our office if they want to speak to somebody. So our office is 858-622-1681. And generally somebody's going to answer, or we have an answering service that will patch it straight through to my cell phone. As long as somebody says, I'm a potential new client, I'd like to talk to Jennifer or Mike, they'll put them through.
Can you also share your website address?
Sure. Our website is www.probackoffice.com.
Great. Thanks so much for joining us today, Jennifer, and sharing how you grew your company so fast.
Thank you. I appreciate the questions. Thanks for having me.
We've been speaking with Jennifer Barnes, co-founder and president of Pro Back Office, about her company's rapid growth. For interviews with other fast-growing companies or to learn how we can increase your firm's high-ticket sales through automation, visit eversprint.com.